Hi guys. Okay, this is literally my fourth attempt to read to you and get this posted on Canvas, and I cannot get them to post. So I'm going to try to do shorter ones so maybe they'll post for me. So I'm going to try to stick to 5 minutes and see if that works. And if it does, I'll try to do 2 5-minute clips each day so I can read for a longer duration, but just in smaller portions. So the last time I read, Constance had fell in the garden and she was in her room unconscious, and the doctor is there trying to get her better. Is Mommy all right? Penny asked, craning her neck to see into the room. Of course not, muttered Alistair, his mouth stuffed with peppermints. That's why Father called the doctor, dummy. Hush, both of you, Molly said. She stroked Penny's hair. Your mom will be fine. Dr. Crouch is the best in England, maybe the world. Why, I heard that when Napoleon got his head chopped off, it was the good doctor who stitched it back on. Napoleon was poisoned, Alistair corrected, and that was 30 years ago. Molly eyed the bag of sweets in his plump hand. Perhaps you've had enough of those, she said. Alistair glared at her, chewing like a cow. You're probably right. He spit out a huge glob of sticky peppermint goo. It landed on the floor with a wet plop. He smiled. You should clean that up. Someone might slip. Before Molly could respond, a door slammed behind her. Master Windsor rushed from his wife's room, fist clenched. He marched right past Molly and the children, who had to leap aside to avoid being knocked over. Where's he going in such a rush? Alistair muttered, wiping sticky slobber from his chin. Molly did not answer. Instead, she led them both to their bedrooms and instructed them to wash up for supper. When the children were gone, she went to the front hall. Molly knew where Master Windsor had gone. She had seen the key in his hand. Just as she suspected, the green door at the top of the stairs was open. It sounded like Master Windsor pacing inside. She could hear his strained voice, something between a shout and a whisper. I said, make her well, he demanded. You're not listening. I need a cure. Ointments, medicines, anything. Molly peered into the room. Master Windsor was facing the tree. Souvenirs, shillings, and pennies spilled from the knothole in front of him. The man charged forward and plunged his arm into the hole, digging beneath the coins. Enough money. I want... He pounded his fist against the tree trunk. Out. He slumped to the floor, burying his face in his hands. I want out, he muttered. He uttered a moan, his body heaving with tight sobs. Molly watched, unable to look away. She had seen men cry before, but never like this. Bertrand Windsor sounded like a lost child, and perhaps he was just that. She took a careful step into the room. Master Windsor? Molly! Bertrand sprang to his feet, wiping tears from his eyes, awkwardly trying to put himself between Molly and the knothole. I was just talking to myself about affairs regarding... It's all right, sir, she said, sparing him the indignity of going on. I know about the tree. His alarm crumbled into something resembling defeat. I suppose it was only a matter of time, he sniffed. I was never much good at keeping secrets. Molly knew she was meant to leave, to pretend she hadn't seen her master in this state, but she knew equally well that she was no normal maid. She was no longer the help. She was part of the Windsor story now. She removed a handkerchief from her pocket and offered it to him. You look like you could use it. Thank you, he said, wiping his nose. He ran a hand over his pale, unshaven chin. I must be a dreadful sight. Molly pushed her dark hair from her face. We all are. She offered a kind smile. You're doing everything you can for your wife. Bertrand nodded, looking down. He creased the handkerchief over and again on itself, and if he could fold it into nothing, he would. For a moment, Molly thought he had forgotten she was there. It wasn't supposed to be like this, he said finally. I had plans to make something of myself, to prove myself to her. Molly inched nearer. Mistress Windsor told me about how hard you tried to make her comfortable. Is that how she put it? He made a bitter face. Connie insisted she didn't care about being comfortable, but I knew that she did. She deserved more than what a clerk could provide, and I was determined to give it to her. If I couldn't earn the money through honest work, I would do it through speculation. All right, I'm going to see if I can get this to load.